All right. Welcome, everybody, on YouTube. This is Offsides Week 2. Going over Week 2 of the NFL. We're going to talk about some of the headlines, some of the stories. I'm Mike. This is Randy here. Rolf's on special assignment, and hopefully he'll be back with us next week when we start filming Week 3. We want to talk about some of the action we had going on in Week 2 real quick, about some of the games. We had Broncos and Giants. This was the Manning Bowl, third time. Absolutely huge. We crushed them. Broncos came out and beat the Giants. This is something the Giants could have done differently.
Right now, get a running game is probably their biggest thing. That offensive line looks like it can't block for the pass. It can't block for the run.
Okay.
They didn't seem too concerned that David Wilson was having all the fumbling problems.
Right.
Because they still wanted to use him. They just couldn't get him
to produce anything.
Yes, there were smaller defensive linemen for the Broncos that were penetrating that offensive line and getting them behind the line, and that probably shouldn't happen. The Giants right now look weak, and I'm telling you, if you guys don't beat Carolina this week, Coughlin getting fired is probably going to come up in every one of your guys' newspapers out there in New York, so bank on that right now.
It comes up quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, it does.
Especially when you're 0-2.
Yeah, 0-2, and there's high expectations for that team every year.
Yeah.
It's a New York team, so you're...
Yeah. Now, the argument to that, though, 0-2 before, ended up winning the Super Bowl in 2007. Could change, could not. We'll see here soon, hopefully.
But 0-2 teams, 11% of the time they make the playoffs.
Okay.
So that's a very small number. You're in the minority right now.
All right. When we had Seattle, San Francisco, great game.
Seattle blew them up.
Seattle.
Yeah. If you're a San Francisco fan, you're watching and you're going, okay, Kaepernick, 400 yards throwing, amazing game. Yeah. Where'd he go? Yeah. What'd you guys do at Kaepernick?
Yeah, well,
I mean, was he doing a photo shoot or something? The real Kaepernick was posing for GQ magazine, couldn't play some football, so maybe his twin brother Skip Kaepernick was playing. I mean,
I don't know. It could have been because it didn't look good for San Fran. They looked, anemic, trying to drive the ball. Nothing going on there.
The Seattle defense, they made the Seattle defense look like the old Bears defense or the Ravens defense from a decade ago.
There you go. It was crazy. And then we had, obviously, San Diego Eagles. I did not think the Chargers had a chance to beat the Eagles. And they beat them. They beat them.
Well, they came from behind to beat them.
With Phillip Rivers.
Chip Kelly needs to learn some time management in the NFL. Calling timeouts to save 7 seconds at the end of the game and let San Diego continue to advance the ball.
Not a good idea.
I am not a pro coach, and I know that's a bad idea.
It's a bad idea.
I know your offense is fast, but you can't get 7 plays off in 7 seconds.
Yeah, true. So, great games last week. Awesome. We'll see what happens coming up in Week 3. Now we want to talk about the 2-0 teams. Which ones are pretend and which ones are real? And we'll start them off. Let's talk about Denver. Real or pretend?
Denver real.
Okay.
Most people are picking them to come out of the AFC. The AFC, to me, seems like Denver and everybody else. Ryan Clady, even losing Ryan Clady, they didn't play with him in preseason this year anyway.
Okay, good point.
So I'm not as concerned.
Okay.
And Manning gets rid of the ball within 2.3 seconds, some insane number like that.
Yes.
He's not going to be holding the ball enough. You're still going to have to contend with those 4 receivers.
Right.
You're doomed.
Yeah. Okay. How about New England?
New England, I am always going to call you a contender. I hate you, but I'm always going to call you a contender because of Tom Brady.
Okay.
You're 2-0 with no wide receivers right now.
No wide receivers.
They're still undefeated. So I'm gonna say they're for real.
See, on that one, I would disagree based upon what you just said. We have, obviously one of the guys, he's in jail. Aaron is. We have Gronkowski. He's still not in the NFL. He's still trying to get better. We have no wideouts. And Brady looks frustrated. I mean, you look at his stats: 186 yards passing, 1 touchdown. Not looking too good there. I'm thinking they're pretending right now. Is what I'm thinking.
But I will say this: if they get Gronkowski back, and they're talking next week, I think eventually he will get some kind of a rapport with one of those wide receivers. One of those young wide receivers will bust out, and Gronkowski opens up everything in the middle. Edelman, 13 catches for 12 yards. I'm not impressed. Okay, it's more like 68, but I'm not impressed with somebody who catches 13 balls and can't get triple digits.
No, not at all.
But I still believe in Tom Brady. He's still, to me, one of the best quarterbacks of all time. He has total command of the field. He just has to get on the same page with those receivers.
There you go. All right, how about KC? Really? The Chiefs?
That was my sleeper team.
Unbelievable.
They are looking good. They are looking good.
Okay, Andy Reid, KC, are they pretend or are they a contender? Do we have to worry about them in the AFC? We do.
I believe this because last year I thought that this team, you got to remember, this is a team with 6 Pro Bowlers.
Yes.
6 Pro Bowls. Most of them were on the defensive side of the football.
Yeah.
They are better than they showed last season. This season, I think that with Andy Reid's steady hand, and Alex Smith is just a great game-managing quarterback. He's never going to wow you with anything, but he will not make the big mistakes. He'll have a big quarterback rating.
Okay.
And I worry about KC this year. I really do.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, great rating. We had that before in Kyle Orton, right? So that guy's nowhere fast. Alex Smith, is he kind of same
Kyle
style?
Orton, I still say Kyle Orton is the best quarterback in between the 20s. As long as you don't have to, as long as he does not have to do the quarterbacking in the red zone, he is one of the elite quarterbacks of all time. That's it.
I'm thinking KC. I actually agree with you on this one. I think they are a contender based upon Alex Smith, Jamal Charles, Dwayne Bowe, great offense, and their defense has picked it up quite a bit. So I agree with you there. Looking at Chicago. The Chicago Bears.
The Bears.
Are they contenders, pretenders? What's going on with
that? They've still got Cutler. I'm gonna say pretender right now. I still think the defense isn't a typical Bears defense.
Right.
When is Cutler going to have his meltdown and start crying and whining? I'm gonna say they're a pretender right now. I still think that Green Bay is better in that division. I don't know if they're strong enough to get the wild card.
Back and forth all year.
Back and forth all year. I think they'll be a team 8-8, 9-7. I think this nice little 2-0 start. They get Pittsburgh this week. They'll get to kill them, so they'll go 3-0. But I still think they're a pretender.
Gotcha. All right. How about the Saints? The coach comes back. The Saints are 2-0. Took down the Falcons. Now 2-0. What are we looking at? Are they pretender or contender?
They're a pretender.
They're a pretender.
And I'm going to tell you right now, they're a pretender. Rob Ryan. Remember, this is the same guy that coached that Dallas defense that got torched all the time.
Yes.
So they're going to
lose in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're going to figure out the Rob Ryan defense again. They're going to remember Rob Ryan is the same guy that was at Dallas. They're going to remember that. They're going to go, okay, we can beat his defense. It's aggressive, but
it is aggressive.
It is aggressive,
yes.
but
which is similar to a Greg Williams defense when they won the Super Bowl. I mean, I don't know. And these guys are fired up. 2-0. We'll see.
2-0. They're in the division with Atlanta. I still believe Atlanta is better. I do think New Orleans will make the playoffs, but they'll be a one and done. They'll get in there, but they're done after that.
Okay. So like a wild card seed.
They're a wild card seed. I just don't believe that they're a contender for a Super Bowl of any kind. They're not coming out of the NFC.
All right. We got Houston. We got the Houston Texans.
That's a pretender.
That is a pretender.
That is a pretender, and I'm going to tell you why that's a pretender.
That is a divisional winner. Probably.
I know, but that is Matt Schaub. I have rooted for this guy. I've wanted this guy to be good, but he
can't do it.
He shows signs of brilliance, and then he makes a dumb mistake.
Okay.
I can't believe in him. I can't take him too seriously. I think that team is peaked. It peaked last season. You need a new quarterback. You need to look to the future. Matt Schaub is always going to be a guy who's going to get you this far. You're going to have a bunch of 10-6, 11-5 teams that get eliminated in the playoffs.
So is he like a Tony Romo? Is Matt Schaub and Tony Romo in the same boat?
Yes, he's not as glamorous as Tony Romo. He's not making the money that Tony Romo is.
Right.
But he is a poor man's Tony Romo in the same state. It's like
Texas, rough.
Texas, you don't have a real quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, where's your quarterback in Texas?
We need to find them one.
Well, maybe they can have.
We'll see.
It's like I don't know.
We'll see. And then the last but not least, my jammy.
We know the answer to that question. And we know that team is not going anywhere. That team cannot maintain. This is not the repeat of the 73 Dolphins. You are not going to get another 16-0 team.
I don't think so either.
It's like, Don Shula, don't worry. You will not have to. You will get to pop the cork on that one for the champagne, because that team's
not doing it.
That team's not doing it. In fact, I mean, if we look at
Atlanta.
If we look at there you go. There's your first loss.
Okay.
Congratulations, Miami. You were relevant for 2 weeks.
There you go. and now they're going to be done.
They're done. They're done. At this point, I think you can just watch them go on a 2-3 game losing streak. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye, Miami. We'll just cross you off the list.
There goes Miami. All right. Now we'll kick it over to the number one pick. What teams are going for the number one pick in the draft? It's between two that we can see right now. And that is Jacksonville Jaguars or the Cleveland Browns. I don't know what I'm doing when I'm trading people. So, what do you think? Who's going to get that number one pick?
Well, you know what? I thought it was Jacksonville hands down. I really believed that was going to be. And then I saw this brilliant move that the Cleveland Browns made for getting rid of Trent Richardson, and I said, wow. Cleveland, you have stepped it up. Cleveland. That is monstrous. I didn't think you guys could do it. I didn't think you guys could get that number one pick. But now I believe. Yeah. I believe in you. Hoyer is your starter. No running back anymore. Congratulations, you get the first pick, which will be Jadeveon Clowney, a defensive lineman. Nice. You need a quarterback.
Yes. I don't know what their whole process is, the whole plan is. The Browns have had number one picks throughout the years. Number of years. And we still haven't figured it out. And I'm thinking this, just stop drafting quarterbacks. Just bring in some championship defensive caliber guys, and then we'll see what happens. Look at the Ravens. They won with Trent Dilfer.
This is what I think.
Seriously.
This is my plan for the Cleveland Browns. Shut the team down.
Just close.
Just stop torturing the poor fans in Cleveland.
It's rough.
Because you guys are going to be this bad forever.
It's going to be a long time.
It's going to forever. As long as those people are in charge, it's
like
forever.
The Red Sox.
You better hope Paul Brown comes back to life.
That's awesome. All right, now we want to talk about the two quarterbacks that we feel are struggling right now, and we're going to talk about the first one, RG3. What is going on with RG3? The Redskins don't look that good at all.
No.
They look terrible. What is going on? And obviously you're led by your quarterback. What is going on with RG3?
We know that RG3 right now, you can see it in the film. You can see everything about him. He is scared. He is skittish with that knee still. I watched a few defensive linemen just kind of fall towards his knee and just watch him he's dancing around trying to get away from it. He's afraid of that knee still. He's not confident in it. He is a running quarterback. He needs to run some kind of a pistol offense. If there's no threat of him to run, if the defenses aren't going to respect it, they're just going to sit back and wait for him to throw. And he doesn't look, he is not Peyton Manning. He is not that efficient in the pocket. And he is not stepping into his throws. So they're sailing on him. They're short.
Yeah.
He looks like Tim Tebow right now throwing the football. You don't know where it's going to end up.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. It's pretty sad to see when you saw him last year.
Last year, amazing.
And absolutely just takes his team to the playoffs, no less, and wins. And now you see a RG3 now, where just not performing at the level that we're already spoiled on from last year. How can the team help him? Can the team, like Alfred Morris, St. Moss, the Shanahans, can they help him? Or is this something he's got to learn on his own?
Look at that defense. It's one of the worst defenses right now in the NFL. If RG3 has to keep coming from behind, and he can't play from behind right now. He doesn't have the explosiveness in his game. Maybe by week 8, week 9, we get to see the real RG3 if he doesn't get re-injured. But I'm saying right now it's rough, and you might want to bench him. If you're going to run a pocket passing offense, put in Kirk Cousins.
Now, they're getting ready to play Detroit this week. And Sue is not exactly the guy that's going to deliver you towels if you need them.
No, Sue.
He's going to deliver you off the bed, off the campus, into a garbage can.
Don't be surprised if you see this play. Ndamukong Suh falls down in the middle of the line.
Yes.
RG3 throws the football. 5 seconds later, Ndamukong Suh comes up and hits him with the club in the knee and says,
"You're done."
I thought I saw a bug. I was protecting him from the bug with the baseball bat to his knee.
I was trying to help him.
I was trying to help RG3. It was a total misunderstanding. Don't be surprised if you see some kind of a cheap shot on that knee, or at least Sue getting close to it to kind of make him scared.
Yeah.
He's a dirty player. I don't care what anybody says.
I will be nervous about that for RG3.
I'd be nervous.
Definitely wary.
Yeah.
I mean, he needs to be wary.
You need to be aware of every place Ndamukong Suh goes.
I agree. Now, next quarterback we want to talk about, Josh Freeman of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What is going on with him? Obviously, he gets removed as being a captain. and they're not looking good. 0-2. And the coach, from what we hear and what we hear in the news, is that he runs a very tight ship, so to speak, very aggressive style, unlike what the Buccaneers were used to prior to that with Morris. What are we seeing with Freeman? Are we looking good? What's going on?
I've never believed in Josh Freeman to begin with. He had one good season.
He did.
That's all he's really done.
Yep.
That team, it did make a playoff run.
It did.
But I'm not a Freeman backer. The only reason I say don't really bench him right this second is because your backup is a guy named Glennon. He threw it.
It sounds rough already. Who is this guy?
He played for NC State, drafted in the 3rd round.
Okay.
So you're not looking at a guy you've got a whole lot invested in.
Yeah.
His career, a little over 7,000 yards, 62 touchdowns, 29 interceptions. Half as many interceptions as touchdowns in a weak ACC. It's not like he was playing SEC opponents.
Correct.
He's playing the ACC. Nobody's really that super strong there.
Yeah.
Not to mention he runs a 4.94 40-yard dash.
Yeah.
There are defensive linemen that are faster than this guy.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I say stick with Freeman, just because you've got nothing on the bench.
Nothing. Well, who's third string? Is there a third string?
Third string is Orlovsky.
Yeah.
If you get down, if you want to give the other team some more safeties, Orlovsky's your guy because he'll run out of the back of the end zone and give you 2 points.
Perfect.
Good job.
So you really don't have an option there. We just need Freeman to get better, but we don't even know if that'll even happen anyway.
No, I don't see it happening.
Does the coach lose his job first, or does Freeman lose his job first? Or they both lose their job?
Right now, I would say Freeman's going to lose his job before the coach because they're not going to fire the coach before the end of the season.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. And then 2 questions to our viewers. We have a couple of situations that are popping in the headlines. Looking at Jacksonville, empty stadium. The fans are out in front of the stadium saying, please sign Tim Tebow.
All 20 of them. Half the fans of the Jacksonville Jaguars were out front asking for Tebow.
What do you guys think? Please post a response. We'll answer as best we can just to kind of take a look to see what you guys are seeing out there. But they're asking Tim Tebow to show up, obviously, Florida Gator. Everyone knows who he is. Is it a good move to bring Tim Tebow onto the Jacksonville
You're
Jaguars?
not going to do worse with him than you have with Blaine Gabbert or Chad Henne, so I say bring in Tebow. He's got a playoff win. He's won 8 games.
Yeah.
Give him a shot.
Terrible rating, though.
Terrible rating, but
quarterback rating against second-rate defenses, second string no less. People trying to get a job in the preseason, and its ratings like in the 40s.
But this guy needs to get back into a game situation. Let's put him back in a game situation and let all of the haters actually have something to hate on.
Gotcha.
Preseason, I don't put much stock in it.
Okay.
He looks terrible, but he did, for the Broncos, win a playoff game.
Right.
Give him a shot.
Give him a shot.
Jacksonville, you can't do worse than what you got.
What do you guys think? Please post a response. Next question. Richardson at the Colts. I thought this was a joke. When I first saw the headlines, I thought it was a joke because I was like, there's no way the one player that the Browns had that filled the seats or just gave you a shot at winning a game, you would trade.
Yep.
They traded him to the Colts. And now, from what I could tell on the Browns, you don't have much. What's your take on this trade?
Right now, Cleveland fans, like we said, you guys are impossibly going to be the worst team in the NFL right now, even with Jacksonville sitting there. It's a good trade for this respect. You weren't going anywhere anyway. Trent Richardson wasn't. But for the fans, I feel bad for him because that's your one marquee player that you had left on that offense.
Right.
I feel for the fans. Trent Richardson didn't even want to leave. This came out of nowhere for this poor guy.
Yeah.
And you had a guy who wanted to play for you. He wanted to stay in that town. He loved Cleveland.
Yeah.
So
and they didn't even call him. From what I heard, they didn't even call him. Like all of a sudden he what? I'm traded. And they're like, okay, he's gone.
But for the Colts, this is a great trade. This puts you guys up into giving you a chance to win that division.
It's huge.
I believe it's a very good trade for them.
Well, that was the one thing they were lacking.
Yeah, they were lacking a big-time running back.
They needed that badly. So, but post your responses on that one. Yay, nay, you like it, you don't like it. And we will do our due diligence to look at your responses and reply as we need to. Thank you for joining us for Offsides Week 2. I'm Mike. This is Randy. We are out. We will see you next week here on YouTube. Offsides.
With a full staff.
Space NFL. You'll find the videos. Thank you very much. We're out.